Welcome back from the rest hold, everybody. We are going to get into the main events, and we're going to start off with the mailbag questions that you guys have submitted for July. We've got 5 questions, or 35 questions, depending on how you look at it, but a couple different people have sent some things, and we're going to just run them down one by one here. Guy from Brazil. Literally, that's what he wrote on there.
Is it Guy or is it Guy?
Guy? Maybe it's Guy.
I don't know. It's probably Guy.
What's up, Guy? Hopefully you're from Brazil and it's not like Guy from Brazil from Texas or something like that. He says, what is the best pre-match video? Personally, I think it's Austin versus The Rock, WrestleMania 17, My Way, Limp Bizkit. I had trouble thinking about this. I couldn't really pick. I mean, I've liked a lot of them over the years, and actually the first thing that came to my mind, and it wasn't necessarily like the one I think it's the best or whatever, but I really liked Undertaker and Bray Wyatt's from WrestleMania this year. And I really like that song, and they're not releasing it, which is pissing me off. But I like the song that they did before the WrestleMania match for Michaels and John Cena. That was good. HBK and Bret Hart, I think, had a really good one for the Iron Man match.
Well, HBK's part was anyway.
Like I had trouble thinking about like what actually a lot of these were, especially for non-WrestleMania things. So I can't really pick. Because I'm sure somebody will remind me of something down the line, and I'll be like, yes, that was amazing, even if it's like months from now or something like that. But
I got you on this. I'm a video guy. Wrestling videos are one of my favorite things about this, the little pre-match promos. All done by the same guy. Hard to fucking believe. It's just like the music with Jim Johnston and now CFO Money. They have one house guy, and he takes care of all these things. That My Way video is definitely one of the best of all time that they've ever done. I love that one. In more recent history, one that I really liked, and I don't think people give it enough credit because I think it made him look so much more legitimate going into the match, was the one for The Miz before his WrestleMania 27 match. It had that You Can Hate Me Now song, and the whole thing was him standing in a studio, and it had all these clips showing him going from the real world to being the host of SmackDown and slowly building himself up. Really told a good story for The Miz. But the best of all time, in my opinion, comes from the Invasion pay-per-view. It was the WWE Team Alliance, WWF versus Team Alliance. And that was the video where they basically built it up like it was a war. Like an actual war, and they had all this like stock footage of like bombs dropping and like tanks and all this like World War II stuff, and it was all with this overlay of this speech by Freddie Blassie that he's told to rally up the troops, and it was just fucking awesome. I highly recommend seeing that one if you've never seen that one.
And while you were saying that, it reminded me of another one, the All Grown Up one from WrestleMania.
Oh, that wasn't a pre-match one, but yeah, that was cool.
If that counts, I really like that one a lot. Kalen, what about you? What's one that stands out?
I hate to just repeat what the question writer said, but the first one that popped into my head was the one exactly what he said, the Limp Bizkit My Way from Austin versus Rock WrestleMania 17. That was about when I started getting back into it, like a year before that. So it had that momentum for me. It really set the pace for it right. Like, I've never liked Limp Bizkit. I don't really like them at all. Never have. But even when it comes on the radio now, I will listen to that song because it reminds me of WrestleMania. I heard it, I don't know, 3 or 4 weeks ago, and I was in the car and I cranked it, and it still reminds me of WrestleMania. And that's one of my favorite rivalries from that time period, and I think it just set up the stage perfectly. So I'm going to have to go with the same one as Guy from Brazil and say Limp Bizkit, which is weird saying, I'm going to say Limp Bizkit's my favorite. But that's the only time in life you'll ever hear me say that.
Do you have a favorite, Sean?
My favorite was during WrestleMania 18. It's The Rock versus Hogan. I like the music. I like the passion in The Rock's speech with The Rock lists off like the people believed in him. The Rock believed in him. And then he turned and left. I thought it was really good.
Music is like the biggest factor in a lot of these, I think. I mean, like the editing and stuff obviously can be like, you can fuck it up and stuff like that. But I think that like if you get a strong enough song that works with it, it'll really boost it.
Most of them are just production music.
Yeah, but a lot of that's great.
Mm-hmm. I also like the one on 27. That's when I went back to started watching wrestling.
Another one from around the same time as that WrestleMania one that I talked about was for SummerSlam 2001. And they used "Let the Bodies Hit the Floor," "Bodies" by Drowning Pool. I thought that was a great one. I thought the song fit in really well with it. It was a nice promo package. I just went back and watched that about a half hour ago when we were talking about this kind of stuff before the show. And I think that was another one. I think their house music, their in-house music that they have, Jim Johnston or whoever do, I like it. But I think when they tie in current songs, I think that works even better.
That Eminem one was good.
Yeah, that was good. I like that one a lot.
morrosupremo says, in your opinion, what's the worst moment in WWE history and why? I gotta go with either Owen Hart's death or Chris Benoit's situation. If you're going with non-kayfabe, if you're going kayfabe, Mae Young giving birth to a hand. But I don't think I really need to explain any of them. What do you guys have?
The worst one, for me, personally, the worst storyline has to be the Katie Vick storyline. I mean, you have Triple H fucking a corpse. What more is there to say? I mean, what the fuck?
That was pretty bad. Yeah, if we're talking non-kayfabe, I got to go with Owen Hart as well. I mean, that was a tragedy all the way around. Not much more can be said about it.
What about kayfabe?
I'd have to think about that.
All right, what about you, Peyton?
I'm actually going to take this in a different direction. I'm looking at what was the worst moment for the WWE as a company. And yeah, Owen Hart dying is sad, but people die all the time. The Chris Benoit thing was a tragedy, but really, it in the end, it doesn't really reflect on WWE that much. To me, the worst moment for WWE was when they were caught up in all those scandals in the early mid-90s. Vince McMahon is stuck in trial. Hulk Hogan, their biggest star, has not only left them, but now he's testifying against them. The company has lost all of its big stars. They got Ted Turner breathing down their throat. Financially, they're on the verge of bankruptcy. Their product is absolute shit. There's never been a worse time for WWE than that time period.
Definitely a different way of taking it. Do you think it's
Very
something?
good point. No, I don't know. The hand was pretty terrible. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I didn't really like the mentally disabled gimmick, like they did with Eugene or Perry Saturn later on. I thought that was kind of tasteless, but I don't know. I wouldn't say that's necessarily the worst. I'd have to think about that more.
Peter says, is the Next Gen podcast on iTunes or just YouTube?
It's just on YouTube for now. I'm going to be putting on iTunes and Stitcher, I don't know, probably sometime around when their actual next special is.
And he also asks, are we on Wrestling Amino? I had no idea what the hell that was, but no. I looked it up, and it doesn't look like it's something.
Yeah, I just looked it up, too. It's an app.
It's kind of an app thing, yeah.
Something to look into, maybe. I don't know.
I got rid of the WWE app, and I downloaded the Tough Enough app, and I haven't even clicked on that yet. So a non-WWE thing, it would have to really stand out for me.
Yeah, I'm not interested in getting the Tough Enough app. I still do have the WWE app, and that's only so I can watch the network.
You want Amino, Sean?
I got Amiibos.
Wrestling Amiibos.
They count?
Sure.
I got a Donkey Kong Amiibo.
He also says this the 30 question wrestling challenge. We're gonna try to breeze through this real quick.
Bring it on.
What do you guys think? That this would be better to go person to person or question to question?
Question to question.
No, person to person.
No, person to person. Okay.
Alrighty, I'm gonna breeze through mine then because I got my answers all written out ahead of time. First question, favorite wrestler growing up? Tie between Shawn Michaels and Undertaker. Favorite female wrestler? Mickie James, possibly. Favorite male wrestler? Shawn Michaels. Favorite theme music? I can't really pick because I just kind of go in different moods. Sometimes I listen to like Mark Henry's theme. Sometimes I'm listening to Jake the Snake's. There's so many of them. I have maybe like 100 something in my collection. Favorite promotion? WWE. Hands down. Favorite tag team, New Age Outlaws. Favorite stable, DX. Makes sense. Favorite angle? I think it would probably go to Kane's debut. I loved that back in the day. Least favorite female wrestler? I didn't watch her, but I'm assuming that I probably would have disliked Linda Miles the most, because I don't think I would like anything about her at all. Favorite or least favorite male wrestler? The first person that came to my mind was Eric Escobar, which is really kind of odd, but I'd have to look at like all the terrible ones of all time. Favorite manager or valet? Sonny. Gorgeous. Favorite or funniest moment? I really loved when HBK did that whole dropping the European title Triple H thing on Raw, and like, I just couldn't beat you, and like all that. That was amazing. That's the type of dick humor that I absolutely love. Favorite gimmick? Undertaker, without a doubt. Favorite memory? Shawn Michaels winning the title at WrestleMania 12. Favorite pay-per-view or show? It's always the Royal Rumble. Favorite promo or segment? I couldn't think of anything for that necessarily. Favorite wrestling memory, or first wrestling memory? I remember playing with a couple of the toys over a friend's house in the really, really early 90s. He had like a Big Boss Man and a Rowdy Roddy Piper and stuff. So I think that's the first one I can think of. If not that, then I know that I dressed up as Hulk Hogan one year when I was really, really little. So around the same time period. Most overrated wrestler, either Sheamus or Del Rio at this point. Most underrated, Cody Rhodes, without a doubt. That guy needs to get a world title reign. Favorite wrestling move? Pile driver. I miss that shit so much. Favorite gimmick match? Royal Rumble. Favorite era in wrestling? Probably the end of the New Generation era and the beginning of the Attitude era. Most improved wrestler? Mark Henry. Most shocking moment? Owen Hart's death. Favorite commentator or announcer? Jim Ross. The old years. Currently is Renee Young. Dream match, first thing that came to my mind was The Rock versus Shawn Michaels, both in their prime. A wrestler that I want to see more of, The Undertaker. Miss that guy. Favorite rivalry, Austin versus McMahon. Favorite, and we weren't sure about what this was. The way that you sent it in, Peter, was favorite wrestling related Imagine. And we took that as possibly the favorite image, like a still image or like one kind of like thing that you would see. And the first thing that came to my mind was Shawn Michaels coming down from the ceiling at WrestleMania 12. They show that all the time, and it makes sense because it's like awesome. And last question, why are you a wrestling fan? I have no idea. So who wants to go up next?
All right, well, let me rapid fire this. My favorite wrestler growing up was Shawn Michaels. My favorite female wrestler of all time, I am going to give that to Candice Michelle. Favorite male wrestler of all time, I am going to still hold that to Shawn Michaels. My favorite theme song, I'm like Tony, I go all over. Funny enough, I think my favorite wrestling theme song right now is Sasha Banks' song. It's really fucking poppin'. Yeah. Favorite promotion, by far, WWE. It's not even like a competition for anything else. Favorite tag team of all time, the Road Warriors. Favorite stable, I'll give that to DX. My favorite angle, just like you had Kane's debut, I think I'm actually going to give it to Vader's debut, which was very, very cool. As cool as Kane's was, Vader came in there, just beat the living shit out of then President Gorilla Monsoon. Just absolute monster from his first day in. My least favorite female wrestler of all time, Nicole Bass. Just look at a picture of this woman. My least favorite male wrestler of all time, I have always had perhaps an unfair hatred for Jeff Jarrett. We can go into why maybe another day. My favorite manager / valet of all time, Paul Heyman or Bobby Heenan. Probably Bobby Heenan, though. Funniest moment? Oh, gosh. We'll say Tea Time with Santino. There's probably way funnier stuff than that. That's the first thing coming to mind right now. My favorite gimmick of all time, Disco Inferno. My favorite memory was...
Side note, I'm disappointed I didn't pick Bobby Heenan. I think I need to change my sunny answer to Bobby Heenan while you're thinking about that.
My favorite memory, I'm actually going to go with my first wrestling show that I went to at Madison Square Garden, which I'll go into more detail about that another day, but it was a very historic show. Curtain call incident. If you don't know what that is, get on your wrestling history game. My favorite pay-per-view or show of all time, I actually would give that one to Money in the Bank 2011. Really fantastic show. Every match on there was just solid and enjoyable. First wrestling memory. I think it's a lot like Tony, where I remember playing with this dude's foam 2x4 with Hacksaw Jim Duggan on it. Most overrated wrestler of all time. You know what? I'm going to give it to Roddy Piper. I never really got what everyone saw in Roddy Piper. He was all right, but people would act like, oh, he's the greatest person to ever get a world title. Yeah, he never deserved to get a world title, especially not while Hogan was around. Most underrated wrestler, I'm going to say right now, say Cesaro. I mean, after the performance he's been giving lately, John Cena recently gave him props after the show. This guy is some guy who deserves his dues. My favorite wrestling move is the power bomb. Good old-fashioned power bomb. Favorite gimmick match is also a Royal Rumble, although I do enjoy any type of big cage, whether it's a War Games or a Hell in a Cell or the three-layer cage that WCW had.
Punjabi prison.
Not so much a Punjabi prison, but it could be cool, maybe. My favorite era in wrestling, it's like the post-Attitude Era going into the Ruthless Aggression Era. You know, where like they had the SmackDown 6 and Kurt Angle and Edge and Brock Lesnar. That was excellent era. Most improved wrestler, Undertaker. The guy was the drizzling shits when he came in there. Just a lot of chokes and chops. Last part of his career, he's been having match of the year quality matches. Most shocking moment, when Vince McMahon was revealed as the higher power. Favorite commentator, announcer, I'm actually going to give it to Jesse Ventura. Fantastic dude. Dream match, Undertaker versus Bruiser Brody. Wrestler I want to see more of. We're not going to go there. Favorite rivalry?
Roman Reigns.
Well, I'm actually going to say Undertaker versus Mankind. Those guys had an awesome war throughout 96, 97, 98. Some amazing, brutal matches. Of course, their Hell in a Cell, their Boiler Room Brawl. And it affected into, like, other people, too. Like, they had that Executioner dude who is, what's his name? Jesse from Jesse and Festus's dad. Goldust got involved in there at some point, too. I love that feud. Favorite wrestling-related image is Stone Cold Steve Austin when he is covered in blood during his I Quit match with Bret Hart at WrestleMania 13. One of the most impactful things you'll see in there. You just see it. It's like, holy crap, that is one tough son of a bitch. And that's probably what caused him to have that face turn. I wonder if that really would have been as effective if he didn't have that look on him. And why am I a wrestling fan? Because I fucking like it.
Kalen or Sean, who's up next?
I'll go next. My favorite wrestler growing up was either Hulk Hogan or Jake the Snake. I really like both of those guys. Favorite female wrestler, Lita. Favorite male wrestler, Kurt Angle. Favorite theme, there's a bunch of good ones, but I'll have to go with Stone Cold Steve Austin because once that glass breaks and you hear his music, you know he's coming out to kick ass. It always gets me pumped up, so I'll go with Austin on that one. Favorite promotion, WWE, hands down. Favorite tag team, Hardy Boys. Favorite stable, this is not going to be a popular one, but I'm going to go with Right to Censor. I like that whole gimmick. I thought, I know.
You know, it was terrible. For your favorite music.
No. But I like that whole thing. No, let's see. Favorite angle, I'm going to have to go with the Invasion storyline. I know a lot of people like to shit on that, but I was really into it.
No, that's still a dream scenario.
Yeah. Let's see. Least favorite female wrestler. I'm going to have to go with either Eva Marie or Dana Brooke, both of whom are currently on NXT, and both of whom I'm not completely trying to shit on. I hope that they improve quickly and soon so I can say, wow, I was wrong. They've gotten so much better. Right now, not so much. Least favorite male wrestler, got to go with Great Khali. Never been a fan. Favorite manager, without a doubt, Paul Heyman, best talker in the biz. Funniest moment, this one was tough for me. I was thinking it's backstage music or backstage songs, like when Edge and Christian were doing their kazoo songs. I like that a lot. And when Kurt Angle had the acoustic guitar.
You think you know me. You think you know me.
And it was, you know, wearing the little hat. So I like that a lot, you know. Favorite gimmick, also Undertaker. Favorite memory. It's not very long ago, but I'd have to say right now, at least if it's not my favorite, it's way up there. It's Daniel Bryan winning the title at WrestleMania 30. That was such a feel-good moment. He worked so hard for so long, overcame all the odds, and that was such a good moment. Favorite pay-per-view or show? Now, if we're talking specific ones, I'd have to go with WrestleMania 17. If we're talking in general, Royal Rumbles. Those are always a good draw. Favorite promo or segment? I know it's shown in just about every clip show, but when Stone Cold came down to the ring with the beer truck, love that segment. Favorite wrestling first wrestling memory? I'd have to say it was a pool party one summer. I was at some friend's house, and I went in, and their dad was watching it. It was $1 Million Man offering people money to do stupid shit, and I was like, what is this? And then, they started beating people up, and I think that was the first time I ever saw wrestling. So $1 Million Man was definitely my first memory. Most overrated wrestler? I'd have to go with Sheamus. Never been a fan. Most underrated? Although he's being used a lot now and people are hot on him, I'd have to say Neville right now. And some people might say, why is he underrated? Because he's so good, but he's being underutilized. He's not nearly up to his potential. So since he's still new to the main roster, there's still time to turn that around. Let's see. Favorite wrestling move? Got to go with the German suplex. Favorite gimmick match? I'm going to go with the Royal Rumble. Favorite era in wrestling? I think Mike was also saying this. At the end of the Attitude Era, heading into the Ruthless Aggression Invasion type era there in the early 2000s. Let's see what else we got. We got favorite commentator, good old JR. A wrestler I want to see more of, Cesaro. I mean, he's proved it the last 2 weeks in a row. He can work. I love him. He's so entertaining. They really need to get behind this guy finally. He won that Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, and that kind of went nowhere. He kind of gets these stop-start pushes. I think they should just take the ball and run with him. Let's see what else we got. Favorite rivalry, also like Mike said, Undertaker-Mankind. That one was quite epic. I know that word gets thrown around a lot, but Undertaker-Mankind, I think, deserves it. Got favorite wrestling-related image. I'm going to have to go with SummerSlam 2000 when Shane McMahon took that huge drop off the entrance rig. Like, whenever I think of, like, big imagery, that just him just taking that dead drop off of there, that sticks in my mind. Such a good spot. And finally, why am I a wrestling fan? Well, as we know, when it's bad, it's bad. But when it's good, it's really, really good. It's like modern day real life superheroes. It's like athletes, but combined with superheroes. So I'd have to say just the fantasy part of it. I like being able to buy into the kayfabe when it's good enough. Just to, I feel like a kid again. And that's all I got.
And Sean, what are your 30 answers?
30 answers, here we go. Favorite wrestler growing up? Ultimate Warrior. Favorite female wrestler of all time? Leah. Favorite male wrestler of all time? Chris Jericho. Favorite theme music? Eric Bischoff. Favorite promotion? WWE. Favorite tag team? The APA. Favorite stable? I'm going to get a lot of flack for this one. The Spirit Squad. I love the Spirit Squad. I think they're fucking great. Favorite angle? Kurt. Least favorite female wrestler? Least favorite female wrestler has to be Eve. I fucking hate Eve. Least favorite male wrestler? The Great Khali. Favorite manager or valet? Again, Lita. Funniest moment? Kurt Angle in the milk truck. Where was I? Funniest moment. Favorite gimmick? Randy Orton's Legend Killer face. That was pretty cool. Favorite memory? I haven't got a favorite memory. So they're all good. Favorite pay-per-view? Night of Champions. I've always been a fan of Night of Champions. Favorite promo / segment was the time when they had all the world wrestlers, the world champions and the WWE champions and the world heavyweight champions in the ring at one time, and the fans started chanting Daniel Bryan's name. That was cool.
Great.
That was pretty fucking sweet. Wrestling memory has to be... my first wrestling memory has to be when I was in my back garden. Me and my brother were playing with action figures. We decided to bury them in the back garden. That was pretty cool.
Your friend Triple H?
God damn it, I was going to make that joke.
We did have a Triple H action figure, and we shaved his head, and then we put him in the fucking flower pot. It was great.
I was going to make a casket match burial kind of thing or something like that. I was trying to figure out a way to get that around there.
Most overrated wrestler. Roman Reigns, most underrated wrestler. Has to be my second favorite wrestler, which is Tyson Kidd. Favorite wrestling move, the DDT. The Tornado DDT. It's really good. Favorite gimmick match, the Championship Scramble. Favorite era in wrestling, towards the end of the Attitude Era. Most improved wrestler. No idea. I'm gonna go with Kofi Kingston. Why not? Most shocking moment. I'm going. Favorite commentator is Joey Styles. I like Joey Styles. Oh my god! Dream match: Kurt Angle versus Daniel Bryan. A wrestler who I want to see more of course, is Chris Jericho. Favorite rivalry: Triple H and Mark Henry. Triple H and Mick Foley. There we go. That's the one. Favorite wrestling related image is Mick Foley getting thrown off the Hell in a Cell. Why am I a wrestling fan? Because I gotta talk to these wankers every week.
It's more than enough of a reason.
Yeah.
And we have one more question. This one sent in from Derrick. How would you deal with somebody making jokes about cancer to somebody who just lost someone from it? If somebody's a dick enough to do that, fuck them. You don't need to be around them. I mean, I think that we can make jokes about a lot of different things, and I've got a pretty strong skin when it comes to, like, ball busting, and, like, you know, you should kind of be able to make fun of yourself and stuff like that, but if you've lost a family member, nobody should make a joke about it. And it doesn't matter if it's cancer or if it's, you know, a car accident or whatever like that. Like, that's the one time where things kind of should be put on hold.
I think if someone doesn't know, you know, say somebody in my family died of cancer, which I have had family members die, but say somebody made a joke to me about cancer or something and they don't know my situation, I'm just going to let it fall to the side. You know, they don't know me. They don't know what's going on. You know, I'm not even going to put any amount of credibility into it whatsoever. However, if they know me and they know my situation, like, haha, you know, cancer, like your grandma died, remember? Ha ha ha. Then I'm going to fuck that guy. You know, I don't need that kind of hate. I'm not going to let him get to me, and I'm not even going to acknowledge it. So either way, I just let it roll off my back.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's talking about us.
Actually, it's a little bit of a different story. I don't want to get too much into it, but it's not actually about us.
Oh, okay.
But, what would you do if somebody, you just had, like, you lost somebody and somebody's making a joke about it or whatever?
I probably just wouldn't even, like, notice him. I'm pretty good about just ignoring people.
Me, if it was somebody dissing my dead man, I would go over there and beat the fucking 7 shits into them.
You'd what?
Knock 7 shits into them.
Like you spit shits into them?
No, knock 7 shits out of them. That's what I would do.
Yeah, with me, I mean, you got to consider the source. If it's, you know, if I'm a person listening to a podcast and somebody's making fun about something that affects me personally, I'm just going to say, fuck these idiots. Yeah. And just not put any stock into it whatsoever.
Here's the thing, Sean. It's the question, as far as I'm reading it, isn't that they made fun of the person. Like, if someone made fun of the person that died, yeah, I would get much more upset than that. But if they just make, like, a cancer joke, like, they probably don't even know. Like, so, like, I would just ignore it.
I mean, there's different levels. Like, if it's something like, you know, you've lost a family member to cancer, and somebody just makes a cancer joke, period, I don't think you have any real reason to be upset about it. But the context of this one, it was I was rewording like a big conversation kind of stuff, is more so somebody lost somebody and another person said, like, what was it? Sean knows more about it than I do. Sean's the one who brought it up to me. Something like that they wished cancer upon somebody else, and they were joking about like that the person had died or something. What was it?
Derrick's friend's grandma died of cancer, and this guy just he knew about it, and he started making fun of his mate, and said basically that wished that these two would have cancer and join his gram.
Yeah, and that's just like, that's uncalled for and fucked up. Like, you don't do that.
I think it's greasy, I probably wouldn't be friends with that person anymore, but I wouldn't get like hot about it.
See, I'm not the type that goes into like, I'm gonna fight them. I'm not a fist fighting type of guy, but I highly doubt I would ever talk to them again. Because that would just be like, dude, if you're like grieving right now, you need support. You don't need assholes. And, you know, there's like ways, like, you might not be like the type of person who would be like, oh, you know, let's get together and let's talk. And, you know, if you need anything, like, you don't need to do that necessarily. You can be the type of person who just doesn't get in the way. But if you're trying to like stir the pot and stuff like that, you're one of those jerks that just does it for the sake of being a jerk.
Yeah, if someone's actively trying to be an asshole to me, then I'll just drop them. I don't have time for that kind of negativity in my life. But if somebody's just making an off-color joke and it's not really directed anywhere, you know, I let it slide. I don't let it upset me.
We got a wide variety of mailbag stuff here. Some wrestling talk, some life talk. But we're still going to continue Smack Talk. We've got the main event of the night coming up next. It's called The Spot on the Card for the NXT 5. Thank you to everybody who sent in all your questions for the mailbag. Make sure that you guys do that again, because the August one is going to be coming up. When's that going to be coming up? Let me bring up my list here right now. August is probably going to come up on episode 194 or 195. So August 5th, August 12th, something like that. Got a couple of weeks. So start brainstorming, start submitting them, and I'll backlog that, and we'll answer anything you guys send us. So, thank you again. Leave your comments below. Answer these questions if you guys want to answer them. And we will be back in part 5.